just having grown a business from the ground up and then having the opportunity to sell it, with hindsight, what would you say is the biggest things that you learned in regard to getting it to that point from like a 10,000 foot view? And then maybe like a couple things that was like, these are like real day to day things that I learned were big deals that I implemented.
One of the big things was probably like a personal thing that was really hard for me was like giving up some autonomy. And in the early days of starting my company, it was like I was doing everything. And then we started to need more people. And I really struggled with, bringing in people who were, who had more experience than I did to, to grow this business. I think that was like a personal pain point that was really hard because when you're small and you're starting a company, it's like you have so much autonomy and you're doing everything yourself. And then you start to grow. And if you really want to grow, you have to bring in other people and you have to start to trust those other people. And that was something that was really challenging for me, but so the right thing. And it's really painful to watch other people make mistakes that you like, I already know that lesson, but now they have to go learn that lesson. Otherwise, they won't grow in themselves. That's kind of a part of like, I think being an entrepreneur and growing your company that's probably not talked about a lot, but like those people have to go through the same like growing pains that you went through in order to become great, and we don't really want them to do that on our watch, but like they have to. So I think that was a big pain point for me. What was your other question? Sorry.
No, that was great. So the other one was just the same type of thing, but maybe some day-to-day things that you ended up implementing that you were like, man, in hindsight, these were really a big deal.
I think definitely structure. I mean, we were like maniacs in the early days. I mean, everybody was doing everything, and it was such a shit show for so long until we brought in private equity. And then they were like, you need an experienced CEO. My brother was CEO. And, my brother never had the experience of running and growing and scaling a company of the size that Dry Bar was becoming. So, it was like every store that we opened, like everybody who worked in the company would go to the opening just because it was fun and everybody wanted to be there. And then, when our CEO came in, he was like, everybody's spending way too much money. It was like we had to learn how to pull back and how to like run an efficient business, which by the way, like I didn't know how to do that. My brother didn't really know how to, none of us knew how to do that, which, multiply that times 100 of the things that we didn't know, which I think is incredibly important to bring in people who know things that you don't. And we got our company from 1 to 5 or 6 stores barely, that already 600 employees, right? And now we have to like, and we're trying to go from like 6 to 10, and you got to get people paid on time, like the books have, I mean, there was just so many things that we didn't know how to do. So, bringing in those people was everything for us to like. My brother used to always say to me, like, this is ours to mess up. Like, this is a great idea. This is a great concept. It's the execution. And it's always the execution. Like, you can have a great idea and a great concept, but if nobody's executing it well, it just doesn't work no matter how great of an idea it is.
You want the same opportunity that all these members are getting on this call, where they are able to ask their questions directly to millionaires and billionaires, these 8, 9, and 10-figure entrepreneurs that I interview. Well, I want to give you that exact same access that you're watching right now in this video. All you have to do is go down and click the link in the description of this video to join the School of Mentors.